I guess this is a continuance. The Knight of Cups came out in reverse again using my Urban Tarot deck. And I told you, look, it says the Seducer. Water energy, Knight of Cups. And see, he was trying to take something from her. And look at this woman's arm, has a horse on it. I feel like she has Sagittarius in her immediate chart. But I feel like he does too. Look at the fire behind them. And then there's a crab in her cup. That can indicate STD. Not exactly crabs, but some kind of like sexually transmitted infection or a disease. Because he's the seducer. Look at this guy. He looks like a schmuck. And then this also can represent Cancer, and this could be a Cancer or have Cancer in your chart, or your North Node could be Cancer. But this is green on purpose because green represents the heart chakra. So this is somebody who plays with a lot of people's heart on purpose. And the red, you see the red is prominent again. This person is a redhead. This girl's passionate. And he's coming with passion, but in a different context. But it came out in reverse. So that's a no-go, a manipulator. And on the bottom of the deck was the Ace of Wands. So there you go again. He said no, and no is a complete sentence. No. No babies, no illness, no nothing. Heal. This person is like on a rampage. I feel like this person is like very like wilding. Tell me about their spiritual journey. Where they at? Like, what is it that they're trying to avoid in their spiritual journey? Karmic relationships. So this card talks about when two people are in conflict, you see the infinite space between them two. It talks about it being easy to separate when you're in conflict with each other. But this card represents learning how to grow closer through conflicts. Like, take the message. Like, the conflict is supposed to teach you lessons. It's a karmic experience. Karmic being the education. The conflict represents the education and where you're falling short at, what's in your subconscious, and what you need to be learning as to why you're even in conflict in the first place. And this is about moving closer through conflict, because it's very difficult for people to do that. And that's the purpose of it being, the education being in conflict. The purpose of the lesson was to set aside your differences, is to learn through your differences. Very intriguing. What's on the bottom? What did I just say? Bring harmony and balance. And that looks like a prophet. I'm not gonna lie. It looks like a prophet. The messenger. Bring harmony and balance. It's about justice. It's about stop acting like a fucking asshole. Like, stop doing that shit to people and do your shadow work. Stop, missing the point so much. Stop being so catastrophic when somebody's showing up in support of you. Stop being prejudiced when you see somebody has an aura about themselves, or they have a light about themselves that clearly is offending the jinns that live in you. Like, this is ridiculous. And this is a person who don't know their left from their right. They come off like they have common sense, but they really don't. But God is holding the torch for you, for this person. Nonetheless, because God forgives everybody. He gives everybody chance after chance after chance. To be in your Venus energy is to be in, is feminine energy, is to be in the energy of receiving. So this person doesn't know how, what I'm getting is an emotional abuser. This is somebody who doesn't know how to accept love. You know, this is somebody who felt rejected emotionally. And this is somebody, man or woman. It could be a man and the woman. But I feel like the person who's doing all the manipulating and the emotional, like weaponizing the person's emotional well-being against them. Like, how do you take that? It's like a stroke and strike experience, okay? And it's like it's a thing where you see the person showing up. Just because the person is strong enough to handle it doesn't mean that person deserves to be disrespected like that. And that's why God is keep coming up. Like, there's always an ace next to some bullshit like that. And this, I'm looking at the illustrations and I'm looking at the messages. You know, stop and embrace winter. So that card talks about, you know, embrace the void when you don't know what's going to happen. You don't have an answer yet. It's just a void. You know, that part of the process is just as important as the light at the end of the tunnel. And then the card underneath that is about taking care of your, I take this as your spiritual garden. Water your garden. You have to be responsible for yourself, for your well-being, your well-rounded being. It's not just emotional, it's spiritual, it's mental. Like, you have to be accountable for yourself. Nobody's going to do it for you. You know, you can't use the excuse, I wasn't treated right. I come from a dysfunctional family, or I come from a bad, wow, look at that, addictions. What did I say? Let God in. Coping mechanisms. Coping mechanisms. It's like this person met this woman and he saw her virtue. And he wanted her. Like, he's strangely drawn to her, but don't know how to take care of her. Like, even in the upright, he's on some other shit. So imagine it in reverse. And he meets this person, and it's like, she is beautiful, but she's beautiful for reasons unbeknownst to me, that, you know, according to what I'm accustomed to. So I don't have nothing to offer her but my addictions. What do I do with this person? I'll move this over here and put these. And this could very easily be somebody's twin flame journey, but it's definitely somebody's spiritual evolution. Hence the blue flame, spontaneous awakening. Like, this woman did something to this man and he does not understand it at all. He is not taking it well at all. Like, he's in some kind of like dark night of the soul or something, because his ego is very slow death. I wouldn't be surprised if I see the death card, the tower card, and the judgment card, because that's an awakening. I'm so serious. Like, those, I see all three of those cards based off of what this person is struggling. Like, it's not to like attack this person. This person is really like working through some deep-rooted heavy stuff, and it's like, even he knows it's stupid to make excuses about what's happened in the past. That's the past. Leave it there. The Seven of Swords talks about strategy and wit on one hand, but it can also talk about lying, stealing, and cheating. Deprivation of things. Like, this person could be using all their wits and intellect to con people, and it's like you learn about this woman, this resource, and you see what she comes to the table with, off the bat, it's, I don't want to say it's an offense to this man. It's just that all he has to offer her is addictions. That's what he has to offer her, and he talks his shit. Like, swords represent communication. So whatever he was saying to her, to convince her that this can be something, he's taking what she's coming to the table with. Like, he's taking her virtue and her heart, her open heart. Like, this sounds like a sweetheart. And he's weaponizing it. He's stroking and striking her with it. Like, he's taking it and slapping her with it. And not only that, he's with other people. Like, he's doing it in front of other people. Like some kind of impractical joke. Some kind of sick mind game. Some kind of fuckery that he thinks is going to earn him clout. Like, it's hard to perform without an audience. So likewise, that this person is trying that and has done that to this person, this woman moves in military silence. And this woman quietly, she's a empath, as you will. Like, this whole deck is spiritual, right? The blue flame, the activation. Like, it ignited something in her too. Like, it advanced her too. And she already was a little bit more evolved than that person spiritually, or even a lot more spiritually. But the wands is here. That's spiritual. That's fertility too. With the Venus energy, that's creative, and that's creative energy. So I feel like when I said something about STDs or something, or sexually like infections, that crab represents that, especially with the fire behind him, and then the card was in reverse anyway. I feel like someone attempted to pollute and block her creativity, pollute this woman, change her into something more tangible when that's not her natural aura. This is her natural aura. Look at all that water. Look at this. It looks like the Garden of Eden. And she welcomed this person into her world, and it's like he took a shit in the water. Like, what are you doing? Why did you do that? Because this is where my wits take me. This is how I survive. Oh my God. The Knight of Cups come up again. Like, it's in the upright this time. So he was, I hear the Marvin Gaye song. When did you stop loving me? When did I stop loving you? In the beginning he said, when you get married, it talks about honor and loving and obeying, but it shouldn't be lies. It turns out to be lies. You don't honor what you said. That means you lied to God. That's exactly what he says. And anybody can listen to that song. Like, he said some real deep-rooted stuff. So this person showed up like they were some kind of servant for the Most High, when in actuality, they really are all about themselves. They have a God complex about themselves. But, you met this woman and she ignited something in you. You put that together. What does that look like to you? That's the Tower. She activated something. So that faulty foundation was a no-go. It's like she just smashed it to smithereens. Like, it's like it went from technical, that ego went from technical to non-existent. Just like that. You see how these people are coming out of here? It's like, who are these people? Trying to hide in her energy. Look at the Tower as a metaphor. Like, that's her aura. Like, who's trying to infiltrate her space? Who are these people? This is a couple trying to fix their inner issues or their long-term issues with her virtue. Excuse me? And she came, like, just without trying. Like, it's just her way. So it was karma for them. What was the first card? It was Karmic Relationships. And you can see the two people spaced out. Even in this card, you can show the people that it shows that there's space between them. Nothing but opportunity and space. Anytime you want to stop playing. But I feel like they were avoiding it. You wanted to do things their way. And without trying, this will happen. And again, with the fire and the water dynamic. Yeah, the swords are here. It's like, it's like people who know the bare minimum. You might know a whole something out the holy book, any holy book, pick one, and you know a couple verses or ayats out the holy book. You know just enough to get you in the door. And right when you're called on the carpet to show and prove, he's caught red-handed too with them. With the red socks on, makes me feel like that he got caught in his crap. Hence the tower. Like he got exposed just as fast as he was trying to sneak away. Like he got caught in the action, like somebody walking in the dark and then the light come on and you catch them red-handed. That's what I feel like with these cards. This is a woman who's disciplined. She also turned her back on this person because she knew. She was using her discernment, and she could read right through the nonsense. That's the thing about the Queen of Swords. She's already been through the runaround. That's why she's disciplined like that. It's like, nope, we use our logic. I'm not operating from no weak space. I'm a grown woman, and this is supposed to be a relationship, whether it be family, friends, romance. It doesn't matter about that. This is supposed to be a partnership. Now, how the fuck is it supposed to be three people? Look, how when she turned her back, it's like they were feasting off her virtue. You see that? How they were feasting off of her, bullshitting around. And you know what? Another thing I got from these two, they were already partners. They was in on it the whole fucking time, laughing about what they're going to do next. Hence the seducer. But it was in reverse. So they had nasty intentions, obviously, or evidently, from the beginning. And they thought their game was tight. And again, with the knight to a mature energy. This is a grown woman. And she not only made them stand back on their heels, but I told you one of them got red socks on. This is the one got caught red-handed. And the other one got red on too. So one of them is more mean. I feel like it's more nasty than the other one. And the other one just was like trying it on for size. I feel like one is more manipulative and persuasive than the other one. So one of them has a weak mind. And this one, I feel like, persuaded this person to go along with it. Like, it'll work. It has to work. Not realizing who's watching every fucking thing. Who is that? That's the Most High. He's watching everything. And he moves through her. What they didn't know is this woman, this virtuous woman, who showed up in her feminine energy, because she wasn't always feminine. I feel like she had to learn how to be like that. But when she operated and she came through in her feminine energy, they don't realize that this is God moving, using this woman. He's moving through this woman to teach these people a lesson. And it's not because he don't like you. God loves everybody. He doesn't put people through challenges like that to forsake them. Obviously, he loves you because he's showing you where you're falling short with this Tower card right here. And they're falling, like they fell not only, standing back on their heels. It's like when the second she smelt bullshit, her detector went off, she turned her back. She set boundaries. And in the same breath of her boundaries, she said she went to the Most High. And she told the Most High what she felt. And he said, be, and it is. So he protects her heart and influences her decisions. So it puts these people out in the fucking cold somewhere. Like they fell on their face. And this is ice. So they had a painful, rude ass awakening. So they're not taking this ascension very well at all, needless to say. Yeah, you were vile. You lacked integrity. You were weak-spirited. You had weak spiritual muscles. I say that a lot, but it's true. You were no match for this Queen of Swords. You were no match for this woman and her virtue and her Queen of Hearts. This is an Empress, even if the Empress is not present. You try to domesticate a hungry lion. You can't domesticate a lion. A lion moves fastest when they're hungry. And it's like, you see how one is going that way? It's like, this what you have to say, you know, to make it work. It'll make sense. I feel like these are local scammers, these two people. These two people right here. It's these same two people right here. And it's like, I'm going to be hiding over here. I'm going to be over here. I'm going to be out of town over here. And this person's like, okay, you sure it'll work? Of course. You got your suit and armor on. You protected. Oh, really? How do they protect? How is this person protected with the Most High present? Are you dumb? Are y'all slow? And this person tried to come in. I feel like this person was this person. And he tried to domesticate. He didn't know he was messing with a savage. Now I hear Rihanna's song, Needed Me. You're trying to fix your inner issues with somebody who is not to be played with. Now they saw it. You got your ass whooped. Look at the look on this person's face. Because he done fell out that tower now. Like, you was sitting in her energy and you try to bring somebody else in. Like, y'all on some bullshit. And this person done snuck away and left you to do all the fighting by yourself. You done got your ass whipped by all the jinns that you tried to come to her with, or the entities you try to rely on. They turned on you. God has a way of turning everything on its head. Okay? Look how he got the bandage on his head, because they fell on their head, clearly. And he's sitting there looking stupid now. Now you sitting there wondering, you know, what do I make of all of this? Like, how do I come back from this? Like, I never had my ass whipped by no girl like that before. I never had that was a supernatural ass whooping. Yeah, because this is a spiritual journey. Of course, it's not going to be like fist fighting another person. That's surface level. That's physical. This is bigger than all of us. This is spiritual. This is spiritual warfare. And you didn't know you were being used. You didn't know you were being used. You were deflecting how weak-minded and stupid you are. When in actuality, your heart space is open. You have feelings for this person. And that energy was gaining momentum. And it was growing. And that person smelled bullshit. Oh, you know what else I'm seeing now? Original sin. Because in the movie, Angelina Jolie, she had the karmic man. They were in foster care together. So they've been together for years, hustling people. And she met her match with Antonio Banderas. Right? And she fell in love with Antonio Banderas. They fell in love with each other hard. And the man could tell that she was moving away. She started operating from her heart space instead of, you know, the game, like the logical, being cold-hearted. You know, she started warming up. And every time she gets close, when she got close to Antonio Banderas, he came in to infiltrate her space and remind her, hey, don't forget your rebuttal. You know, this is what we're here to do. You know, meanwhile, she's the one that's being dragged through the mud. And I feel like this man is that same way. He fell in love with this woman. But she has set firm boundaries when she found out she was being disrespected, and to the velocity of, you know, to the high velocity that she was being disrespected. Now she's the Queen of Swords. Still in her feminine energy. But she said, that wasn't okay what you did. So you have to learn the difference between lust and love. You do. And my spirit guys is going to kick your ass, starting with the Most High. What'd I tell you? And as soon as she did that, this man shows up. You know, it's like, and now I'm thinking of the story of Moses and Pharaoh. How Pharaoh kept mocking at Moses, and he was trying to weaponize his deeds against him. And what I mean is, Moses killed the man, you know, and Pharaoh kept trying to say, how are you a man of God when you killed the man? You know, he kept trying to discredit him. He kept trying to devalue him. And something about this ass, it knocked him on his head and accidentally fixed his personality. Or just made him stand back on his heels and start practicing some integrity and stop being an asshole. No more games. I'm serious now. You know, I don't want to do this no more. Because you don't have that energy no more. And that was missing. And that karmic know that. And she's pissed. Because she's out in the cold just like you're out in the cold. And now, you know, this turned out to be your feelings the whole time. Because the King of Cups can be a person who's very emotionally intelligent. It is a person who's intelligent emotionally, but it's also a person who don't necessarily disclose how deep and in depth their feelings really are. And he didn't say nothing. He just stood by. You know, he just stood by and let the stuff happen to this person and wonder why she's a Queen of Swords now. It's not like he don't know. He's intelligent. He knows exactly why she feel like that. Why she's moving like that now. And you have no choice but to excuse her back now. Because she never got off her throne. She does know her value and her worth. And she has no problem telling you like it is. With integrity. Without having to be vile and nasty. When you put this with the Seven of Swords and the Knight of Cups in the upright. Because it started off in reverse. So you were up to no good. Now you feel ridiculous. And where's that person now? All the people that was rah, rah, rah with you. Where they at now? You left alone with all your emotions. Because you understood the mission as well, and you turned your back on it. You didn't do it right. I feel like this person was too passive, and he just let things happen the way that they did. And the Four of Swords comes after the Three of Swords, which you know the Three of Swords is rejection, heartbreak. You did that to this person. This can also represent death in some instances. A death of ego. When you put that together, it could be a death of ego with that spontaneous awakening, that blue flame. This person is in retreat, recovering from a heartbreak. Or in some cases, can represent death. But I feel like it's death of ego. And this is a church setting. So I feel like this person knows about religion, but wasn't necessarily involved, didn't have their footing, and didn't have no emotional connection or no spiritual connection with God. Like I said, they may know like a couple of verses here and there, just enough, and you only call them now that you need something. And that can also represent depression too. With the nine of Wands. The Nine of Wands can represent struggling of mental instabilities, because now you're paranoid. You don't know what to do. So it's like, well, what would she have done? Now you're resorting back to what she was trying to teach you the whole time to help yourself. Because it's a saying, you want to kill a man, you feed him loneliness. That sounds harsh as fuck, but you have to let him learn his lesson. And if it resort in killing him by way of feeding him silence, then so be it. The Chariot represents moving forward after moving, moving forward through adversity, meaning you're having a very, very difficult time or having like a real heavy time in life. You're just going through something in life. And this is you not knowing, you're walking by faith, not by sight. You're not knowing where this direction is going to take you, but you know you have to move away from where you came from. So it's forward movement. Could even represent a vehicle. Purchase of a vehicle or repairing a vehicle. But in this case, I feel like it's about moving forward, moving past where you just came from, what you've just experienced. That's not your business, but it affected you directly because you were directly, targeted in a way, in a huge way. Why would somebody want this man to evolve into something powerful? God sent this person here for you. It's like when he see you like that now. He see you standing your ground when you put this Chariot with this Queen of Swords. He see this person standing their ground now, and now he recognizes your value. Because he has no other choice but to recognize your value. He's asked out now. I don't know what else to say. Like, this is very deep. It's upsetting. It's disheartening. And I'm going to go back over here again. Like, when you look at all of this stuff, you let addictions take over. It's something you've been doing a long time. And I believe that somebody taught you how to be like that. And then when things got tough, when you met somebody who came with tools, it's like you can't take home economic tools in a class to practice geometry. And this person came with something different, and you were very drawn to this person, and you're very much in love with this person. I said that with that Knight of Cups, and then the King came out. Because this energy, like your feelings have been established for a while. A king is mature. So you've been feeling like that. It's been evolved. Like every day you move forward in these emotions. But you didn't say nothing. You just stood by. And that is distance between you and that person. And now you're not quite sure how to get them back. Now you got to rely on what you half-ass remember her teaching you. But I bet you, because if you operate from your heart space, you tend to make better logical decisions. With that the one time that Seven of Swords is a positive card when it's representing strategy and wit, which can represent Cancerian energy, just like the Chariot represents Cancerian energy. You have to learn your lesson the hard way. But it was meant for you to do that to this woman. This woman understood the mission the whole time. That's why she didn't freak out. She just kept moving. She know who she is. She showed up like that. And you knew that. She triggered you to stand in your position, to assume your position. And you were scared to let down your toxic friends or your toxic resources. And it amused them to make you feel embarrassed and ashamed because you're taking a different avenue in life with that Chariot there. You don't know where this road is going to take you, but you know that it feels good. And it's something you never felt before. So why not? Because you're supposed to be her counterpart. Okay, let me see what's on the bottom. Eight of Pentacles. You're forced to take a look at yourself. and work on yourself. That's what this is going to teach you now moving forward, especially with all these feelings. And what's underneath that is the Lovers. And what's underneath that is the Hangman. So when you put all of that together, and what's under that, it's the last one, y'all, I promise. It's the Five of Swords in reverse. Five of Swords is conflict. You said some very nasty things and some very cutting things to this person, to this Empress, who now operates in her Queen of Swords energy because of you. When she was the Queen of Cups to your King of Cups. That's why you feel like this, bored and discontent, because you refused what God was offering you, based off of wanting to sit in the energy manipulatively and strategically and wittingly. You use your intelligence to be vile and unintegral because of past experiences. And it's forgiveness. Like, it's no hard feelings. I don't feel like it's grudges at all, but it's making you work on yourself. You're going to face your North Node now, because once you get a taste of that, you can't go back to what you used to know. How you going to go from your North Node, how you going to go back to your South Node once you got a taste of what life is like in your North Node, in your authenticity? Like, these are major arcanas. This is a spiritual connection. Even if you want to call it your twin flame, it's still a spiritual journey. It's still a spiritual connection. And it's making you have to do the inner work. It's making you have to do that, because that was completely unnecessary to try to send her walking away, licking her wounds. And you got a smirk on your face while you was doing it, because there's people there. So I don't know if you thought you was being funny, but now you're forced to look at yourself, because you're not no victim. Only his foot is tied up, his hands is not. You could have took accountability anytime you got ready. Now you don't have no choice. I mean, you have a choice, but so this person who was forced to learn his lesson the hard way is now realizing his true North Node, his authenticity. He now realized that with all his intellect, with that King of Cups there, that with this spiritual awakening, and this was a very rude awakening, the way he fell on his head like that. How could you not see that coming? Like, you can't be that arrogant to think that nobody's going to peep game, or just nobody, like, everybody's stupid but you. Like, you can't be that arrogant, but you were. You tried it. It's a 9 of Wands under here somewhere. I can't find it now, but anyway, he looks stupid. Like, he looks salty. Where is that card at? There we go. He looks salty. You need to apologize. Anytime you get ready, you can. But do your shadow work. Okay? Do your shadow work. Because now you're sitting here in these feelings, and they're more deep now than ever. Now you wonder, it's like, am I gonna be okay? Like, you in this energy is like, nobody better not say nothing wrong to me. Nobody better not rub it in, the stupid shit y'all sat there and watched me do. But you have to realize you're an adult. You can think for yourself. You can't look at everybody else all the time. You have to be responsible for yourself. That's that same sword you used to cut her down, or whatever you did. It's the same sword, you inserted it in your own self. Well, it's like, I don't know if I'm going to get a divine union like that again. Everybody has a counterpart. There's somebody for everybody. What's that saying? Whatever is thrown up can be caught. And you had angel guides. You had all the help in the world. You had abundance. Like, you had premonition about this person. And you still made a different decision with your free will. But that's divine preordainment. What does that say for this person moving forward in conclusion? Like, the best thing you could do now I hear the song Marvin Gaye. The remake of Nancy Wilson's song, Just to Keep You Satisfied. At the end, he's like, it's too late for you and me. It's too late to apologize. It's too late. The best we can do is try to be happy. Even though it's Marvin Gaye singing it, so he said it in a way where it's like, well, you were my wife, my life, my hopes and dreams. And you said that to this woman, like, you meant it too, like, y'all were together. That's sad that you did that to her. But what's more sad is that you're left to feel how she felt. Like, God took those feelings right out her chest and said, don't forget, sweetheart, do people think just because they say they believe that they will not be tested? So you thought you were just going to say a few Bible scriptures or Quranic scriptures and expect to think that God is not going to challenge you in what you say you're all about? Oh, you got the Lovers upright. Now he's thinking, and now it's in reverse. He chose wrong. Let me see what's on the bottom. Something about a mental trip that's taking you. It's like he goes into another dimension. He went into another dimension and started operating from a different headspace. But the star is healing energy anyway. But what's sad is when he went to this space, it was a distorted feminine. Looking at the illustration, it makes me feel like he was in a distorted feminine energy in that headspace when he was in that Nine of Wands energy. He deceived himself. Even if he didn't do like any type of like manipulation of energy, whoever he was around or associated with might have done that part, respectfully speaking. But he played the shit out himself. I'm not going to say they, because they were very close to doing this, and this one came out in reverse. But Lovers is a Gemini card, so it's an authenticity card, somebody who's true to themselves, and it meant that much to you to pretend to be something that you're not, just to keep up a facade. And look what it did. Look what it caused. You gave up abundance. Look at this card. This is abundance. Look at all the stuff in this card. To be in that distorted feminine energy when you put these two together. It seems temporary though. Like, it's a spiritual evolution. It's clearly some healing. Like, the things that, as I said earlier in the reading, when you had the Seven of Swords and the Knight of Cups in the upright, but technically your energy and your true intentions was the Knight of Cups in reverse. Again, to recap, right? It was in reverse. And you was trying to show up pretending to be in a way that wasn't authentically you. But you couldn't do that to, the Empress. She knows better. And she always trusts God anyway. But you didn't. You left her out there to defend herself against everybody. So this energy it's like you tried to convince the people, or yourself more importantly, that she was the distorted feminine. that you had to get away from, that you was be like she was your charity case, like she would be nothing without you, like she needed all your expertise, when in actuality she's the empress. I didn't see you show up as no emperor yet. The only thing you showed up as is the King of Cups, and that's because you're mature in your emotion. You know, you have no choice because you're sitting there in your feelings now as a karmic experience, you know, as a lesson. You were supposed to grow closer through your conflict. You know, you're supposed to learn from each other. And you play games. And this woman is going to be vindicated because this lovers is in the, just like the Knight of Cups showed up both in reverse and in the upright, so did the lovers. Because it, like the lovers, and like just like the Knight of Cups showed up as one, that third party you was with, or that third party, whatever you was entertaining, that's y'all spiritual, that's y'all lesson. And this is hers. Like, this is who you tried to assassinate publicly and try to make people think she was something, she was off her rockers. Well, that's rude as fuck with this Five of Swords. And in reverse also, it represents that you're being put in your place. The things you initially did flip back on you. It flipped back on your head. Hence, you fell on your head. She didn't fall on her head. She remained poised. That's you. You were deflecting you onto her. So with that being said, this is the energy she's in now. Just like you told her to own her, you know, own your shit. Duly noted. Because look at the direction she's in. And you're trying to follow her. You cannot live without her. It's like, I don't want to make it sound like you're associating, like, you're idol worshiping her. Because you're not. It's not like that. But her energy's going that way. So it's pulling you this way. She's sitting this way. And you're going this way. Which tells me you look up to her. You respect her. You love her. You want to be like her. You want people to be like her. You're karmics. You try to raise your karmics to be like her. And y'all all trying to sit in her energy. There's nothing left to say except that you forgot what you came here for. So you have no choice but to feel like this. I mean, you do have a choice. You don't have to sit like that, but you are. Disappointed, bored. It's hard to perform without an audience. So if she's this way, you don't have her. You don't have her to be, you know, to show off for anymore. It's like you have this person you wanted to play around with, or persons. This is how they look sitting next to her. Who vindicated her? That's why vengeance is God. No, nobody has to. She ain't had to do nothing. That's why she didn't say too much. Brand new beginnings. Like, I don't know what's going to happen to this person. And she still maintains integrity. She still prays for this person. She still says all of the truthful words that would guide her, because she's wise enough to know that you don't want to take somebody's karma on as your own. You want to wish them well so it don't block your blessings. And not that that's solely the intention, but it's common sense. Because she wasn't fake. She was true to herself. She was doing her job. And he has to watch her. Like, he is in awe of her. I cannot get over that part. Like, he loves her so much. He's going to do everything in his power to not see her back turned to him like that. Put them together. They're totally different energies. She was like this with you. Like the Queen of Cups sits facing him. Excuse me. You just didn't know what to do with her. And now she's this way. It's like you wanted her to chase you, but it's the other way around. Well, word to the wise, sir. Anybody who's of this value or any queen in the deck does not chase people. They know their worth. Okay? So I hope that this education finds you well, or at least find your karmics well so they can heal, you know, and stop acting like they're something that they're not. Look at this shit. I feel bad. You feel bad too. But it is forgiveness. It's pardoning like it never happened. Because it's a fresh start now. Okay? The moral of the story is get out of your ego. Don't be in no God complex. Let God do his work.